I can summarize this game in 2 words: Trent and Sherfield.
He's going to be a great yard after the catch kind of got.
Jeff Roberson. This guy we want to talk about, the Valpo coach, Valparaiso, Bryce Drew.
Women's cross country, 19th in the nation.
You might find like a video of him punching a guy or two.
Also, Wade Baldwin. Absolute stud.
Went to Cincinnati. He completed his degree. He has a bachelor's degree.
He's a complete package. He's the real deal.
And although this guy's covered from head to toe in tattoos,
he's not missing anything. He can shoot threes. He can drive to the rim. He's a great defender. He's good size for a point guard.
Damian, he had 4 fouls in 14 minutes.
And now, live from the Surratt Studios, your home for Vandy Sports Talk Radio, JT and Zeke on West End. Let's go!
Welcome and anchor down from the Vanderbilt campus. You are listening to JT and Zeke on West End, live on Vandy Radio. That Georgia game, not good. So, against Bama and Georgia, the total number of points scored was 59. I guess the one good thing is this time at least Vandy scored a few of the points, 14 of them. But from start to finish, we were just overpowered, especially on the lines. It was not our day.
Yeah, brutal 3-game stretch here for Vandy. 4-game stretch if you include Kansas State. We were able to win that one, though, but really dominated at the line of scrimmage against Georgia and against Alabama and got outscored over 100-14 over those 2 games.
Yeah, that's not too good. I have a quote from Nick Chubb that I'd like to read out. He said, every play felt like I was getting like 10 yards. Well, he wasn't too off on that. He was averaging 8.6 per carry, and the team as a whole averaged 7.8. Their offensive line against our defensive line was such a mismatch. And I mean, granted, it is Georgia. It is like running back U. They do have arguably, one of the best offensive lines in the country, but we were just so outpowered there. They had 5 different guys that average at least 8 yards per carry. 5 different guys. I tweeted this out the other day. Vandy had 2 rushes for 8 yards or more. Georgia had 5 guys that averaged 8 or more.
Over the last 4 games, Vandy's only rushed for 215 yards, and their opponents have rushed for 1,338 yards. They have rushed for over 6 times as much as Vandy over the last 4 games. You don't win too many football games like that. I think we're fortunate. Looking back, I think we're pretty fortunate to get that Kansas State win. There were a few questionable calls that game that went our way. Could easily be sitting at 2-4 right now with a 4-game losing streak, but 3-game losing streak, it is the hardest 4-game streak according to ESPN FPI of any team in the country over the course of the whole season.
Yeah.
So at least we're through that now. We go on the road to Ole Miss this week. We beat them last year, then go on the bye. I think this game is huge. 4-3 sounds a lot different than 3-4, especially when we're trying to get to a 7 or 8 win season.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, Ole Miss is probably like the perfect team to be facing right now. They're also on a 3-game skid. We lost 59-0 against Bama. They lost 66-3 against Bama. They also got demolished by Auburn this weekend. They lost to Cal. Ole Miss is definitely one of the weakest teams in the SEC. This is like a huge opportunity for Vandy to step it up and go 4-3, because 3-4 would be really bad. 4-game skid here. Big game.
Yep. The most disappointing part of the last few weeks for me is the inability to stop the run. We have a quote from Derek Mason, a clip from his press conference right here. It is about to play.
We can't go forward looking in the rearview mirror. We're not going to get this game back. There's a lot to be learned from it. I thought we had guys where we needed them to be, but in terms of the fits and finish and just being consistent about getting guys on the ground, and it didn't happen.
Definitely didn't happen. Did not get too many guys on the ground too often close to line of scrimmage during that game.
Yeah, they had 423 rushing yards. I saw this. It's pretty sad to see this stat, but I saw this stat. Vandy has let up the 2 most rushing yards all season in a game. I don't know if that makes sense. So the Alabama game, we let up 496. In Georgia, we let up 423. No other team has let up 423. So we are last and second to last.
What's different between this year and last year? Derek Mason says we're a junior and senior football team. Off of last year's team, we lost Butler up front. That's big. Cunningham, obviously. Yeah. AG, who weighed like 300 pounds. I guess
that's a lot of size.
I think it's size and depth in the middle. I think that if you look, Leilau gets double-teamed a lot of times on run plays, and the other guys just aren't that big. Like, Tid is a redshirt freshman. I don't know if he's strong enough to be that guy up the middle yet. Mm-hmm. And it's really just Nephi and Jay Woods that are relied upon to take up like half or all of the offensive line on some of these running plays. And it just doesn't happen. So Mason said that guys are in the spots and they're just not making the tackles. That's not true. Part of it is that there's guys that are not within like 5 yards of the running backs. Like there's some of these plays where I could go for a 30-yard touchdown just because the hole is like 10 yards wide.
Yeah, that's definitely true. A lot of the runs, they'd go untouched for 10 yards or more. And, like, that cannot happen. That's clearly the defensive players not being in position. So I'm not exactly sure what Mason is saying there. At the same time, I saw a lot of attempted arm tackles. If you're going for arm tackles, that means you're not really in the right position. And it's also not going to work. Like, if you're 230 pounds and you're trying to tackle a 230-pound Nick Chubb with your arms, it's probably not going to work. He's going like 20 miles per hour.
Yeah, I don't know if our team's tired. I don't know if the Alabama game rattled them. But our defense looked really good against, we gave up 7 points to Kansas State, who has one of the better offenses in the Big 12. I don't know what happened. I really don't. Unless Kansas State's just really overrated. Georgia and Alabama are both top 5 teams. And Florida started to play well. And then they lost to LSU this week, though, so I'm not really sure what to make of Florida. LSU lost to Troy 2 weeks ago and then beat Florida.
Yeah, I guess it shows it's a crapshoot. I mean, Kansas State, they did lose to Texas this weekend. They might just not be that good. They played close against Baylor also, and Baylor's not good. It's too early to tell these things, but the defense has really fallen apart, and Ole Miss's offense is like their strength. So this is a big opportunity for the team to kind of show up and hopefully limit them to, I'd say under 21 points would be great. Under 28 would be all right.
Yeah, I have a quote here from Kyle Shermer from the press conference. We're going to try to interpret what he says, but he says that he's not disappointed about the performance.
In the locker room there after a loss like that.
I think we're frustrated. I don't think we're disappointed because we know it's there, and we just have to move forward. We can't point the finger at anybody. We just got to stick together as a group because this is the time when teams crumble. If you point the finger, we got to stick together as a group. I think we got a great group of guys, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to be successful the rest of the year.
I hope he's right. I hope we are going to be successful. I think maybe he meant they're not discouraged. That makes more sense. I don't know how you're not disappointed after getting blown out 2 of the last 3 weeks, but he has been like the one bright spot the last few games. Kyle Shermer is a much improved quarterback. A lot of people are saying he's the most NFL-ready pocket passer in the whole conference, which I can't think of another guy that if it would step into an NFL game I'd rather have right now, who's not like a dual threat guy.
Yeah.
But I hope they can get it together. This Ole Miss game is a big one. I think it's a very even matchup.
Yeah, maybe he meant we weren't depressed.
Maybe.
I mean, like, is frustrated, disappointed, those aren't too different.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, maybe he's just saying stuff to please the media also.
And Ole Miss right now is a 3-point favorite against Vandy. That's pretty much just home field. This is as dead even of a matchup as we're going to see all year. I hope that we're able to bounce back. I wish we had the bye this week. That would be good. Mm-hmm. But if we can get this Ole Miss win and then we come out of a bye and then have to play South Carolina, that's also another big game. We could be sitting at 5-3 after that, but we just as easily could be sitting at 3-5 and trying to scratch our way into a bowl game. So I'm kind of tired of talking about this game. The last few weeks talking about Vandy football has been kind of depressing. They got us really excited at the beginning of the year and then kind of let us down. They must be more disappointed than we are, though. So we got games at Ole Miss, then bye week. We won't lose that week. And then we got out South Carolina, Western Kentucky, Mizzou, and at Tennessee. You want to give me a prediction for the record maybe, or the games? What wins do you think are left on the schedule? That's a better way of putting it.
Okay, sure. Ole Miss, I'd actually give us the win in that one. Ole Miss has a really bad rushing offense. They average under 3 yards per carry, so I guess our weakness against the run should not be exposed this week. South Carolina, we always lose to. We're counting that one as a loss. Western Kentucky's a win. Mizzou's a win. Tennessee's a win to me. I think we'll lose to Kentucky. We'll lose to South Carolina. Win 4 of the remaining 6. Go 7-5. That's not bad.
I hope so. I think the wins are Ole Miss, Western Kentucky, and Mizzou, and I think they stop there. I think we'll lose to Tennessee.
What?
Yeah, it's there. It's at the end of the season, and even though they're overrated, they do have a lot of talent and they do have a lot of depth, and I feel like our team has looked worn down the last few weeks, and another couple months from now, I can't imagine that not continuing.
Yeah, but don't you think the chemistry in Knoxville is going to kind of wear down on them,
That's
too?
True. Maybe they'll really rally around the interim coach.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Butch Jones has no respect among Tennessee fans or Tennessee,
he's garbage. He's
or
not,
Tennessee players.
He's not good. Yeah, the Tennessee players are tweeting, LOL, look, Vandy just scored. One of their players tweeted that during the Vandy-Georgia game.
Well, what do you do if you're Butch Jones? Like, you can't address the players for not respecting you. I mean, it's kind of his fault that he's not respected by
You see what
them.
he said today? He said that this is the most productive bye week anybody's ever had in a long, long time. That's like one of his Butchism quotes. How do you not if you're a fan, how do you not hate the guy?
Most productive bye. What did he do? Did he go
They
shopping,
didn't lose.
go on a date with his wife?
I'm not sure.
What was productive about it?
I really would like to know that.
Maybe there were a lot of fights. Maybe
there were a few.
There were.
Yeah.
That's like how he measures productivity.
He came out and said two guys fell on a helmet or something. That's why their face got banged up. But no, there were a few fights in practice there.
Anything to do with FIFA this year yet?
I don't know.
FIFA and cleats? No.
No.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Maybe in the future.
So I'm good on Vandy football. If you wanna move on from that.
Yeah, I actually want to talk a little bit of unless you want to talk SEC in general. I'd like to talk basketball.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vandy basketball had a really big visitor. He is 6'9", also really big because he's a 5-star recruit, top 10 in the nation, number 1 5-star, took his official visit to Vandy. He was between, according to some of our sources, people thought before these last basketball recruiting scandals came out, Vandy and Arizona were the 2 frontrunners for him, but he actually went on to cancel his Arizona visit after that happened. So he has official visits just planned to here, and then in a month or so to North Carolina. And on 24/7 Sports, about half the crystal ball predictions have this guy Simisola Shatu.
Good pronunciation there.
Yeah.
I couldn't do better.
I think that's
probably it. Yeah.
Committing to Vandy. This would be. I think Damian Jones was round number 70 in his class. I think John Jenkins was pretty high.
Jenkins was 23.
And Foster was pretty high too.
Yeah.
But we've never had a guy like this. And then we have Darius Garland down the street that has a lot of predictions to Vandy also. So we could sign 2 top 15 players in this year's recruiting class. How exciting is that?
Yeah, this Simisola dude it's kind of intriguing. He also has Alabama on his list. He goes to school in Vermont. So I guess that's one of those prep schools, though, I'd assume.
Yeah,
Vermont
both of his parents are some sort of teachers or professors, I've read, and he's big on the whole education. I'm hoping that this would be a better fit for him than going to a school that half the team or a lot of people get arrested and he's around a bunch of not as academically inclined. That's a nice way to say it. People. And Bryce Drew has this thing. He goes around and he tells people that his practices are meant to get you ready to play in the NBA. They're structured like NBA-ready practices, and he's going to put you in the league. And he's going to adjust his offense to have it fit around you for these top guys. He told Darius Garland, the point guard, that he'd be able to be the lead guard instead of running a system that a lot of people do now where really position doesn't matter after you bring the ball up the floor. And Shatu, if you watch his highlight tape, he could be the number 1 ranked player in this class. It is ridiculous. It's like Jerry Baptiste with the skill set of Wade Baldwin.
That's
actually though he looks like Jerry Baptiste. This guy is shredded and 6'9". He plays like a point guard. It's insane. If we get these 2 guys, I think that we will be top 10 preseason and could easily make an Elite 8.
How cool would that be? I'd fly back for a few games to watch them.
It would be a reason to stay in Nashville after graduation.
Yeah, that too.
That'd be really exciting.
Yeah, he's ranked 7th on 247, or 7th on the composite rankings on 247, but number 1 for his position. And there's a position that we really need.
We need big guys.
Even though, getting a one-and-done type guy won't really fill the void long-term, but
care.
Who cares?
Yeah. He's projected to go in the top 10 of the draft in 2019 also. Watch his highlight tape. He is really good. We hope he commits. Hopefully the terrible weather this weekend. I think we're going to talk more about weather later in the show, but the terrible weather this weekend, hopefully it didn't discourage him. Nashville's a really cool place to be. And he actually favorited, this was pointed out by one of the followers, he favorited a tweet on Twitter that said, don't go to the schools and follow people there, go somewhere where you can beat those guys. So I think that he's referring to beating the powerhouses and being the man. You just look at him. I have no idea how he's 18 years young or younger. Looks like a grown man. He looks like Chris Bosh out there, but bigger. And he can essentially run the point. So we're hoping that he can come.
Yeah, he and Garland, 2 top 10 guys. It's ridiculous how well Bryce Drew is recruiting. We have 1 commit right now who's right around top 100. And then we have these 2 guys in the mix that are top 10. And, I mean, the teams that we're competing with for these recruits, it's insane. You have, like, Duke, Indiana, UCLA, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. They have offers from them. These schools would all be ecstatic to get these guys. And here's Vandy and Bryce Drew, just Mr. Steelio recruit coming in.
Yeah, Mr. Steelio recruit. There's also news today. Romeo Langford, the number 1 ranked shooting guard in the class, he visited along with Garland a couple weeks ago, said that he's going to defer his decision till the spring and only take 3 official visits, which people think is good news for us because right now we only have 3 spots and one of them's taken up by our first commit, who would be a huge guy to get most years. When you're not talking about the 5-star guys, he would be one of the best players on our team right away, small forward. But there's a chance that one guy transfers out, a scholarship opens up, and scholarship spots close up other places, and we're able to get back in the mix for him too. I think if you get Shatu, Romeo Langford, and Darius Garland, you're automatically a top 5 team. You got the point guard, you got the scorer, and you got the big guy. He's the best big guy in the country.
Yeah, we'd have the number 1 shooting guard, the number 1 power forward, and then a top point guard.
Yeah, a top 2 or 3 point guard. Yeah, who's a distributor.
I mean, this is what Kentucky fans get to be excited about every year. It usually works out for them. It would be a much better system to be in Vandy's, though, I think, because we'd actually have returning players, too. Whereas, like, at Kentucky, all of the players leave and all of them come in. We'd have 3 new guys coming in, and then we also would have, 9 returners.
Yeah, so we're very deep at the guard spot, especially if Garland commits. We'll have Garland 1 more year of Larry Austin, who tore it up during the summer, and 3 more years of Saban Lee, who hasn't even played yet, who was our top recruit last year. So we'll be very deep at point guard.
So what happens if we get all of these guys? What
long
term for our program? Do we continue getting them?
I think just getting a few of them, even being on their list, helps if we don't get them.
Yeah.
Well, people say, like, if you're second or if you're 100th, it doesn't matter. They're not at your school. But just seeing Vandy mentioned along with the powerhouses. Also, I think that all of those scandals that are going on at all these other places where people are paying the players a ton of money, where it's pretty obvious before, I don't see how Kentucky doesn't get all wrapped up in that. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to help Vandy as long as Vandy's clean. People have come out and said that Kevin Stallings would never do that, which Kevin Stallings seemed like a pretty... not strange, but he seemed like different. Hopefully he's different in a good way in that way, because I think most coaches play players, especially the top guys in college basketball. So if Stallings and if Bryce Drew are both clean, that could help us. Because you don't want to go to a school that has a ban for the postseason or that has like 10 scholarships available and your team's just going to suck.
Yeah, agreed. I'd assume that Stallings had a clean chip, and Bryce Drew would never commit any sin of any kind, it seems like.
No, he seems like a great guy.
Yeah, I don't even think he'd use like the word hate. He's just too nice of a guy for that.
And then for next year, there was a guy who's the number 1, I believe, ranked player in the class, James Weissman. He lived in Nashville, and he moved to Memphis, though, but he's ranked number 2 on the 24/7 composite. He was also there for a visit when Garland and Langford visited.
Now, was that the Alabama weekend?
Yes. So hopefully they didn't stay for the game. They wouldn't have been able to get into the student section if they wanted to, but because it was completely packed. But.
Yeah, but they must get like VIP.
They were on the floor. They're on the field before the game.
Yeah, you sometimes see them around in the golf carts. Some of the recruits just being driven around. That's always cool. I didn't see any of them though. Although you have said that you've seen Darius Garland around the Vanderbilt campus before.
I saw him at Chipotle like a year ago on West End. Well, and that's very close. You do the Google map from there to Memorial Gym, it's got to be like 0.48 of a mile.
He must have been. Yeah, 0.48 exactly. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and there's also a street here that's already named Garland Ave, and I think one of the classroom buildings might be named Garland Hall.
Well, it's a building.
Is
There's
it?
a whole building named after him, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, yeah, named after him.
It's obvious that Vandy doesn't want to spend too much money on athletics in some areas, so it's a good thing we already got the building there. We don't have to put up a statue after he comes.
Yeah, well, hopefully there's no scandal associated with that. I mean, we built the whole building for the dude.
We built it like 20 years before he was born.
Yeah, maybe more.
Yeah, don't look into that. If the NCAA is looking, we did not erect a building to get the guy to come here. Well, maybe we did. And if we did and we win with him, I don't really care.
Whatever, yeah. Reggie Bush was worth it for USC.
Yes,
Darius
he was.
Garland will be worth it for us.
Hopefully.
But, okay, we shouldn't be saying
so
that.
So Reggie Bush, if Reggie Bush could come play basketball for us, do you think he would start?
Was he that good at basketball? I haven't
He was
seen
so
his
athletic.
high school highlights, but
He was so athletic.
His vert's probably around 40 to 43 inches.
Yeah, you got to think he'd throw down some insane dunks.
Yeah.
He'd bring a lot of publicity, too. He'd help fill the stands.
Yeah, I don't think he has any eligibility left. Well,
No?
maybe, yeah. I don't know. He stayed at USC for 3 years, maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm not sure. And if he plays really well, can he get his Heisman back? That's the real question.
Yeah, right. But yeah, Darius Garland, that would be huge. He's the most likely guy that we would get. He's been in the picture for a while.
Some people think he's a silent commit. I'm not sure about that. Part of it seems like he is, just because whenever you hear about him and Vandy, he seems like he's a Vandy lean, and it's been forever like that. Mm-hmm. But part of it also seems like he's not going to commit by himself. You keep hearing reports of like he wants to play with these other guys and super team it like everybody wants to in all levels of basketball now. So I'm wondering, I think if Shatu comes, I don't see how Garland doesn't come.
Yeah, and also their lists, even though they have like all the top programs, their top choices don't really have much overlap. I think for Garland, it's probably Vandy or Duke, right?
No, not Duke anymore. Duke signed
Duke's,
Reddish and
okay.
Trey Jones, who are both going to start for them. So he would have to come off the bench there. Either,
Really?
Yeah, that's how ridiculous it would be. No, but it's either Kentucky, he wouldn't be able to be the lead guard, and then people think Indiana because Langford might end up there or here. I don't see him going to UCLA and playing with like LaMelo Ball. I think that's just would be a joke. I don't know.
Would you want to play with LaMelo Ball?
I would want to play with LeVar Ball. That'd be funny.
Yeah, I feel like if I weren't good, I'd want to play.
Actually,
with
no, he
them.
can't. Can he even go? Can he even play anymore because they have that shoe? Is he like not eligible to play?
I don't know. I mean, supposedly they're all going to play for the Lakers, all three of them together, sometime pretty
now
soon.
Now LaMelo's being homeschooled.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Yeah, he said that he's pulling LaMelo out of school because he doesn't like the coach and he wants him to focus on basketball instead of school. Can you imagine having LeVar Ball as your teacher, as your homeschool teacher?
Yeah, he's really good at teaching ego.
Yes.
LaMelo is the one is he the one that scored 100 points or something?
Yeah, he
like
scored
that?
100
yeah,
points.
He has.
He would just pull up from like half court,
well, he,
like 40 feet. And,
he was cherry picking the whole game. He never ran past like half court to play defense. He was kind of just standing under the rim, like waiting for someone to pass it to him. Then he'd kind of just get his easy layup. I mean, I wouldn't have been good enough to do that because I'd miss some layups, but I'd get like 80 points in that situation.
Yeah, that's true. I think the team they were playing just must have been like terrible.
Yeah.
Like absolutely terrible.
I'd like to take classes with Professor Ball.
If Professor Ball taught a class, what would he teach here?
Maybe like a psychology course on confidence, egos. Yeah. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I
think he'd
marketing.
Teach like,
he could teach marketing
or like astrophysics.
Yeah, probably that one.
Okay.
Shoe merchandising, shoe marketing.
We're talking about basketball for next year a lot, but the basketball season starts actually a month from tomorrow against Austin Peay. I think 2 years ago when we were supposed to be really good, but we wish Bryce Drew got here a year earlier because we kind of blew it with Stallings. We opened up against Austin Peay, and I believe we had like a 28-0 lead in that game to start the game. So that was a lot of fun. I'm not sure why the game's so late. It's an 8:30 tip-off, but
we
got Austin Peay, then we got... Yeah, actually, I think it's like Big Fox. I think it's like Fox. Mm-hmm. Not Fox Sports 1, but just Fox. No, but then we play at Belmont. That was a game that Kevin Stallings was afraid to play for most of his time here. Belmont, one of the better mid-majors. UNC Asheville, which shouldn't be very good. And then we got some big games. We got USC, we got Virginia, Kansas State on the schedule. MTSU, who's been in the tournament the last few years. They beat Michigan State, I think, 2 years ago. A pretty tough out-of-conference schedule. We'll do a full basketball preview at some point, but... I'm pretty excited for the season. I think the worse the football season's going, the more excited I'm getting for basketball. Hopefully we can right the ship this week.
That's usually what happens. We did struggle against some of those island teams over the summer, though. That was a bit concerning. I don't know what else to call them.
Yeah, we did. It was
there
like
some
the Virgin
colleges
Island national team. Is that what it was?
Something like that. Maybe a U.
And then there was like
team.
some pro team from Canada or something.
Well, no, they were college teams from Canada.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think we lost to some of them.
No. We're really deep at guard. I'm worried about how we're going to be inside, though.
Yeah, Jerry really needs
Jerry
to
Baptiste
step it
is
up.
our starting center. And then we have, what's his name, Zeke Obina. I think he's the only other big guy on the team. I think if one of them go down, like Jeff Roberson will play backup center. Jeff Roberson's like 6'5".
He'll probably be the best rebounder on the team.
Probably will.
He'll be the most
team in
forceful.
rebounds.
Yeah. Maybe we'll put Riley LaChance at center.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
But yeah, I think that there's definitely a lack of depth for the big men. Hopefully we get Shatu, and that won't be an issue next year.
I wish he could come this year. Hopefully he could reclassify.
He'd probably start. Yeah, he'd have to start.
He would start.
Yeah.
He'd be our best player.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Definitely. He definitely would be. He'd be a top 10 pick the next year. So is that all the Vandy we have today?
Yeah, I think we should probably go to break now.
Go to break?
But,
okay.
Yeah, football not looking great. We're excited for basketball. We're excited for Ole Miss next week or on Saturday. Welcome back. You're listening to JT and Zeke on West End Live on Vandy Radio, and we actually have a guest named Zeke. He spells it Zeke.
Yeah, what are the odds of that?
So we have two. It's JT, Zeke, and Zeke today.
Yeah, he's shadowing our show. We thought he emailed us to shadow our show. And we thought it was one of the funnier things because Zeke is a pretty rare name. My name's not actually Zeke, just like your name's not actually JT.
It's not.
I didn't think it was.
I've been putting it on my resumes.
Oh, okay. So we got JT, Zeke, and Zeke. Zeke, JT, and Zeke.
Yeah, I picked the radio show based solely on the fact that Zeke was in the title.
Yeah.
That's the way to go. That's what puts this show over the top.
It is.
Just the name.
And if you listen to the first half hour, you know it's the number one source of entertainment in the world.
That's statistically proven, scientifically proven too, actually.
So you want to talk about another little bit of science right now?
Yeah, so I was walking to work today. I had my backpack on. Granted, I worked out before. Then I took a shower, and I was walking to work. My back was getting sweaty. It was really hot out. It was really humid too. So I checked my phone. It said it was 78 degrees out, and I was shocked. I thought it was like 95. It said it was 78. It's 81 right now in Nashville. 70% humidity. It's really been getting to me. Has anyone else? Have you noticed this? It
has been terrible the last few days.
Yeah.
I mentioned that when talking in the first part. But God, if you visited the last few days, why would you want to ever come back here? Let alone not live here. But like, I can't see why you'd ever want to come back to this part of the country. It has been gross out.
Yeah, it's soup. It's just so humid.
It feels like you're walking through water. Like I feel like sweaty, even though I don't think I'm sweating. I think it's just the water, like from the air getting on me.
It is good for your skin. That's the one perk of it.
Is that scientifically
humidity.
Proven?
That okay. Unlike the other things that I said were scientifically proven, that one is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been really humid. Meanwhile, it's 74 degrees in San Diego. I didn't check that. I just assumed that because it's San Diego.
Yeah.
It's 74 in San Diego. It's humid here. Imagine what it's like in Houston right now. It's 88 there, and like Houston's just even more humid. Could you live there?
Could I live in Houston?
Houston, because it's the summer. It gets like 95 every day, and the humidity is like 90%.
I think I'd have to get paid like 4 times as much to live there than more desirable places. It would be terrible. Like Houston, Miami. Here in the summer sucks. I was here over the summer, and it is very hot. It's like how it was today, but 20 degrees warmer some days.
Yeah, and I was here last summer. Like the summer before you were here, it was actually over 90 degrees as the high every single day for over 30 days straight. And I was going to work like with my long sleeves and khakis on, and it was brutal.
Yeah, and it's worse some places too. In Miami, there's 84% humidity right now, and it's not even raining.
Yeah, that's too much. I mean, it is Miami, so you can go to the beach. Can't really do that here.
That's true. It's all flat there, though. I don't know. I've been there. I wasn't really too impressed.
Really? Okay, so I haven't been. I'd like to visit. I don't think I'd be able to stay for too long. Other Zeke, where are you from?
I'm from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
No way.
Oh, really? Oh, that's cool.
Like home of the Owls.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm in season 7 right now. I've gotten too busy during the school year, so I've only watched
last
like 2
aren't
episodes.
that good.
Yeah, they get worse.
Yeah.
But Will Ferrell comes in at some point.
Have you ever seen any of the cast hanging around there?
Well, obviously, no one really hangs out in Scranton.
Okay.
When the last episode aired, the cast came out and we filled out the Yankees minor league stadium and listened to them speak.
Really? So you were there?
Yeah, I was there. I listened to Michael Scott espouse some words of wisdom to Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh, I'm sure.
Can we debate who on The Office would be the best motivational speaker for our football team right now?
Let's see.
Would it be Michael?
No, I think Kevin would really rile me up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure.
No, Michael could I feel like he could actually string together a pretty.
I think
good
Dwight
speech.
would get pretty militaristic and just start yelling at people.
That could work.
I think that would be the best.
It
I
could-
think
it
our
could
team
get-
needs some enthusiasm.
it
What
could
do you
get
think? You have the
dangerous,
first-hand knowledge.
I guess Creed. I'm a real big Creed fan.
Okay.
I think he'd come in and he'd start spouting some stuff about 1950s football and the wishbone offense.
So back to the real topic. How's the weather usually in Scranton?
Well, it gets pretty cold. Negative 10s a lot of the time in the winter.
Really?
Right now it's probably around 60s, 50s.
It's probably pretty nice right now.
Yeah, well, definitely not this humid though. Definitely not this humid. Where are you guys from?
I'm from New Jersey, actually really close to
Oh,
there.
really?
The climate's pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
He's from
Boston.
Boston,
and
even
it's-
colder.
It's
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah.
cold as it gets, pretty much. Although, I don't. Maybe Scranton gets as bad.
Not as bad as
Oh.
Boston, but it's pretty terrible. What we make up for the terrible weather is we make up for in the lack of everything else. We're just a terrible city.
Well, you got a lot going for you. You have the office though.
But we
that
were-
must be such a huge point of pride.
Well, we were rated a panel of Princeton and Harvard surveyors rated us the unhappiest town in America 2 years ago.
Is that because The Office stopped filming?
It's probably part of it.
Wait, they didn't actually film in Scranton, did they?
The opening credits are. They mention
Okay.
thing in Scranton, like the restaurants sometimes.
Ah, okay, that's
pretty
actually
cool.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all the people in the office are from my area for the most part. Most of them they went to Newton High, which is 15 minutes from me.
Really?
We got, yeah.
Who went
Jim
there?
went there. BJ Novak went there. Well, I guess Ryan in the office. He's probably my favorite character, by the way.
I liked when he went to the city and got
I maybe laughed
completely
harder
changed.
at that point when he got hired for that position over Michael Scott,
Yeah,
because that was out
that's
of
a
the
joke.
blue. And he really transformed several times in the show, actually. Maybe once again in the.
Well, he's
eighth and
he's
ninth
the
season.
main writer of the show, I think.
He is,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
He's
is, yeah.
really smart. He went to Harvard. So he went to this either Newton North or Newton South, which is one of the top public schools probably in the country.
Yeah, but
Um,
clearly not smart enough to make a working website.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Not somewhat business. He seemed business savvy, but maybe wasn't actually. So they were both from there. Also, Louis C.K. went to that school. Lots of people.
Any athletes?
Athletes. I mean, maybe it's a big school, but at the same time, there's not too many athletes from Massachusetts.
That's
I could
true.
see a baseball player coming from there.
Rhett Weissman, maybe from Vandy?
So Rhett Wiseman, he actually went to our rival high school, BBN.
Okay. I was close.
That was cool. And also Beatty went to a school that was in our league. He went to Lawrence Academy.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything bad about the school. I'm not a fan though. It's I would not send my kids.
Yeah, I don't really like it either.
Yeah. He was lights out though there. I actually have him on the cover of a magazine just sitting in my room, one of those ESPN Rise magazines. I don't know if you guys had those.
No.
And you're okay. It's like an ESPN high school sports magazine, and Beatty was on the cover at some point. I have one with Nerlens Noel on the cover when he was a sophomore in high school. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
That is cool.
But yeah. So the weather in Boston not good.
I have some good news for our listeners right now. I know that the large majority of our listener base is here in Nashville. There's a cold front right now that's sitting right around it's coming. You guys are laughing, but it is. It's cutting right in between the middle of Illinois, coming down, cutting through Missouri, and that is on our way. It's coming toward us. So I'm expecting some cooler temperatures arriving in the middle of the week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, mid-70s, nice, beautiful, some good outdoor weather.
I mean, I'd check the 5 or 10 day forecast, but I think I should just trust yours.
Yeah, I mean, you can check it. It probably corresponds to what I just said.
So this radio show moved from Vandy Sports to the weather to Boston High School athletics.
That's what happens when we lose. You can see the toll it takes on us. If we win, we'd still be talking about Coach Derek Mason, but no.
Who is my favorite dude? But
Yeah,
it's just
he is still pretty cool.
We're not. Yeah, it's just not the day to talk about him. After we beat Tennessee, I know you said we're not going to beat Tennessee. We will. After that, I'll talk about him for a few days.
What are your guys' opinions on Derek Mason versus James Franklin?
Ooh, James Franklin was like the goat here.
I'm from where Penn State's at.
Okay.
So.
I wish we still had him.
Yeah, I am. So I love Derek Mason. James Franklin is one of the top coaches in the country. He's really diligent. Like he works his butt off. And I know a lot of Vandy fans are upset about the fact that he left. And a lot of people try to like say, oh, it's not the fact that he left, but the way he left. I think that's kind of BS. It's hard to leave in a smooth way.
How do you not take the Penn State job if you're from there, though?
Yeah, so
it's like
one
of the top 5 to 10 jobs in the country.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it's more money, and they'll actually give him what he wants there. He got the field house built, but besides that, I don't think there's too much buy-in.
Yeah, I think there's like two ways to look at this. One is like if you stay at Vandy and you actually make us like a 10-win team, then you're a legend. But the odds of doing that are really low. Like that's extremely difficult.
I think he overachieved here. I think like next year, I don't think we would have won more than 6 or 7 games with what he left on the roster. And I just think with the quality, like the academic standards here, I think that 9-win seasons are both outliers. I think that that's the ceiling, and I don't think that we can actually win more than that. I think it would take a while to turn us into like Stanford. But
well, it takes a James Franklin like guy.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
Do that.
There aren't too many of those around.
And so I mean, he's one of the best recruiters in the game.
What are your opinions on Jim Harbaugh? Jim Harbaugh is 1-4 against Michigan State and Ohio State.
Yeah, but he also, I mean, this year it's probably not even like fair to assess him too much. They have 5 returning starters. The fact that he came in his like first 2 seasons and made Michigan a top 10 team, it's pretty impressive. They weren't expected to be that good that quickly. Going into this season, I said if he gets 10 wins even, then he's a top 3 coach in the country.
Okay. Are you okay if we switch gears completely?
What do you have in mind?
I want to talk about NBA season predictions.
Oh, okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, who do you think? Give me your top 4 in the West, and then give me your top 3 in the East.
Okay. Well, do the Warriors even count anymore?
Yeah,
they're number 1.
We'll put them at 1. I know it's a stretch, but put them at 1.
I kind of want to say the Thunder at 2 now. I don't know. I'm really interested in how that's going to work now that Melo's there. And
yeah, I think they'll be good. If it's Olympic Melo, they're going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
But if it's ball hog Melo, they're going to be pretty bad.
Well, I mean, it's ball hog Melo for a reason. There's no reason not to be a ball hog.
The Knicks are going to be terrible this year.
Yeah.
They got rid of him, but they're going to be so bad.
Yeah, they should sign Phil Jackson as an actual player. He didn't work out as so. I don't know what his position was.
That was the biggest money grab. He got paid like $8 million a year to destroy the franchise.
He stole money from
the 3 of us in this room could have probably had the Knicks into a contender by now. You're still New York. Who cares if they have to pay luxury tax? Like, franchise worth so much. Mm-hmm. You get players to come there. Shouldn't be too hard. Hire like a competent coach.
Yeah,
I don't see how the Knicks are so bad.
So let's say Warriors,
that pains me.
Then Thunder, then Spurs, then Rockets. I think a lot of people probably have the Rockets at 4. I mean, at 2. Sorry, at 2. That's what I meant to say. But do you think that's gonna work? Chris Paul, James Harden. I don't know
because James Harden's like the primary ball handler last year. He essentially played point.
He's so much better at point than he is at shooting guard.
Yeah, I don't know how that's gonna work.
As true of a point guard as it gets.
At like this point in Chris Paul's career, especially, and then combined with Harden, that's a terrible defensive backcourt. Also,
yeah,
like really bad.
I
don't know.
I think they're gonna be worse.
I do too.
Like,
I think I like your predictions. I like Actually, I'm gonna switch it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Thunder, Warriors. I'm gonna go Thunder number 1. I'll tell you why. Thunder, Warriors, Spurs, Rockets.
Okay, where are the T-Wolves, by the way? Are they
5?
Are they 5?
5.
Yeah,
T-Wolves at 5. I like
they
Thibodeau.
They could be really good.
Yeah, they could be really good. I wish they were in the East. They could win the East.
Like Towns.
I think the T-Wolves would win the East.
Towns is a top 10 player in the NBA. Jimmy Butler is probably a top 10 player in the NBA. Wiggins is like top 20.
And they got Jeff Teague now.
Who are your top 10 players in the NBA?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Do you want us to just completely switch gears again? Okay, let's do it. Top 10 players in the NBA.
Are we gonna work on this together, or are we gonna?
We'll do it together.
Okay.
You name one, I name one, then you name one.
Okay.
We'll go around, and then we'll have our 10.
Is it in order?
Yeah,
Sure.
Let's go roughly in order.
Roughly in order.
Okay. So we know LeBron.
KD.
Steph Curry.
Let's go with Russ 4. Yeah.
Harden.
Kawhi.
That's 6.
I think that top 6 is like very
I think that is
cemented
the top.
in.
You could probably argue about the order, maybe
Yeah.
1 or 2 spots, but that would be mine.
And then I'd say Anthony Davis is a clear 7 probably.
I'd say Greek Freak.
You say okay, so
I'm not sure. It's
7,
either
8,
Greek Freak
though.
or Paul George.
Well,
Yeah. Boogie Cousins. DeMarcus Cousins got to be a.
ooh, I don't know. He's so talented, but I just wouldn't want him on my team.
He's so good.
Yeah.
I guess,
He's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, that's true. His game's a little outdated.
I think he's better than Jimmy Butler.
I do too.
Yeah,
I think-
I don't know.
Jimmy Butler's more
Jimmy Butler's a
valuable to
better
his
defensive
team, I
player
think.
though. Yeah.
I think Paul George is better than Jimmy Butler.
I agree with
Oh,
that.
for sure.
I agree
Paul
with that
George,
one.
Jimmy Butler.
Butler might be overrated.
So who do we have? We got LeBron, KD, Curry, Westbrook, Harden,
Kawhi.
Kawhi, Davis,
Greek
Antetokounmpo.
Freak, Cousins. You have the number 10. Is it Paul George? Is it Jimmy Butler? Is it Chris
Towns.
Paul?
It's Towns.
Towns.
He averaged like 25 and 13 last year.
That's
he
pretty
can
good.
shoot. He
His
can
defense
dribble.
sucks,
He's
though. His
6'11".
defense is really
I don't
bad.
care about defense.
Okay.
I'm an offensive guy.
Okay. He plays for a defensive coach. But okay.
Harden doesn't play defense either. I have him in
That's
my
true.
top 6.
That's
so.
true. Okay. I think if we expanded it, I think Paul George would be in there. I think Butler
Paul
would
George
be in
and
there.
Butler are probably 11 and 12, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so they're the next ones in.
probably.
Yeah, Paul George on the Thunder now.
And Kyrie's probably around there too.
Yeah, he's like 80th. I don't like him.
You don't like him? Why? He's gonna make your team better.
I don't. Do you actually think he will?
I think they'll be really similar to how they were.
I'd say.
I think they could beat the Cavs now because if Isaiah gets hurt again, which he's missing like half the season already, that's not a ridiculous statement. You have Derrick Rose, who is going to get hurt. Who else is going to play point guard for the Cavs? Like they're going to have. Dude, D Wade is old. He can't shoot. You want shooters around LeBron. D Wade can't shoot. I just think that the Cavs got worse. I think that
the
you
Cavs
guys got
worse
better
this year? Really?
Yeah, Kyrie's clutch. Kyrie's a closer.
We brought in Kyrie and Gordon Hayward this offseason.
Yeah.
Plus, the Cavs have to play Jay Crowder now, and I would never want to see a team play Jay Crowder.
Really?
I think
so
Jay Crowder is way overrated.
Really? So Jay Crowder, if we were to extend this ranking, I did a ranking in May actually.
Are you saying Jay Crowder's in your top 10?
He was number 50.
He's number 50?
He is one of the best. Yeah, he's a really good defender. He's going to add a lot of value to the Cavs. A lot of.
Where
depth.
is he going to play though? What position is he going to
He's
play?
at
There's no
small
way
forward.
Thompson or Kevin Love aren't going to be in the game.
No, Thompson's not starting this season. I don't think.
Who's going to start?
I think Kevin Love's starting center.
Ooh, we'll see.
He's going to add a lot of depth to them. The Celtics have no depth whatsoever. Like we got almost swept last year against the Cavs. I don't really see how we wouldn't get swept this year.
The one thing I'd be disappointed if I was a Celtics fan is they didn't want to part with the pick to get Paul George, and then they parted with the pick to get Kyrie. I think if they just added Paul George to their current team, I think it would have been a better move.
Yeah, they had Kyrie for 2 years though. George would have only been there for 1.
That's true.
I mean
I'd want to try to win.
That's an interesting thing. Paul George in Oklahoma City right now.
Yeah.
Because if he stays in Oklahoma City, you have to think he would have stayed in Boston also.
He's not going to stay in Oklahoma City.
You think there's close to no chance?
Close to no chance.
Yeah,
What if they?
He has to live in OKC.
That's the funny thing. He says I want to live in LA, warm weather, huge city.
Well, what do you guys?
It is 68 degrees with hardly any humidity in Oklahoma City right now.
Would you rather live in Nashville weather or OKC weather?
I'd be afraid of the tornadoes, but OKC weather, it's probably less humid.
It's pretty dry there. I do caution you that Tulsa's allergies are actually supposed to be worse than Nashville's.
Ooh, I don't know.
So that's
It's high of 58 degrees tomorrow in Oklahoma City. That'd be nice. I could go for one of those
really?
days.
That's a little chilly. I don't know.
That's true. It is a little chilly.
For October. If that were the winter,
is Paul
that'd be
George a
perfect.
warm weather guy?
What's
Do
better?
we know that?
What's better, living in Indiana or living in Oklahoma City?
They're both terrible.
Yeah, they're equally bad.
Yeah, they're equally. He wouldn't resign there. That's why they had to get rid of him.
Yeah. This is that's a good question. I think Indianapolis is a bigger city than Oklahoma City is.
And do you think that
But
when
it's
he goes
colder there.
when he goes to the Lakers, are him and Lonzo Ball going to be the best duo in the league?
I don't know. Is LeBron gonna join him?
Well, yeah. Why didn't we have Lonzo in the top 10?
LeVar would have had him at 1.
Well, he's already changed the culture of the Los Angeles Lakers forever. That's clear, according to his dad at least.
I love when if you guys watch the summer league games, you'll see Lonzo Ball on the court and they'll be like, "Wow, he's so good at passing. He's really affecting the team." And then you'll see him on the bench and they'll still be like, "Wow, he's really making them pass more when he's not even doing anything."
People are all over Lonzo.
It's his presence. You got to think that we forgot to put them in our top 4, but you have to think with Lonzo Ball, they're either 1 or 2. The Lakers, You see-
Oh, I forgot. I completely
yeah,
forgot. Oh,
you got to
they're
think
number
Lonzo
one.
Ball averages like 50, 15, and 15.
Yeah.
What's the over-under? 75 wins? Take the over.
For the
Wow.
Lakers? Ooh.
That's
I say 82-0.
we're big over under guys. So this is an important question.
What are we actually saying it's at? What's the over-under? 75?
Yeah.
75. I mean,
75 exactly.
no, let's go with the over.
Over?
You think Lonzo Ball lets them lose 7 games? Just by sheer
I don't
force
know.
of will.
I'm not sure.
I think his dad might even come on the court. Maybe is there any like law against the whole family just coming out in Lakers uniforms and playing some ball? Pun not intended there.
That was a great one.
Yeah, it's really bad. Sorry.
We got to get on ESPN radio. Just because of that.
You have to
Yeah.
think Magic Johnson comes out on the court at least once. At least once Magic Johnson plays point guard.
Well, don't you think Lonzo Ball is like a reincarnation, but like a better reincarnation?
Yeah, he's way
of-
better. It's not
Yeah.
even close.
It's
Okay.
on the real though. Do you think he's gonna be that good?
I think they probably win like 25 games.
Yeah, if you had to place the over under at 25, I'd go with the over, but
Under 30.
I'd probably put the over under at like 32, 30-ish.
Maybe,
Yeah.
if that. What do you think about the Pelicans?
They're gonna be a mess. I would not be surprised if both Davis and Cousins are gone either by the end of the season or like during the off season. Because Cousins, I'm pretty sure he's a free agent at the end of the year. There's my friend Josiah from Tulsa, huge OKC fan.
How are his allergies?
I don't think he has them. He's just like, genetically superior.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he should be on the football team actually.
Yeah, he actually
as a
should. We'll
kicker.
talk about that. Yeah.
but
He's
yeah,
better
we
than our kicker.
We should bring him on to talk about that. Although he'd be too humble to. But anyways, he's mentioned that there's a chance that the Thunder try to trade for Cousins at some point during the season.
Why?
Well, imagine if they brought him in. So Cousins, assuming that
Would you play him and
Cousins-
Adams at the same time, or would they trade?
No, Adams would go for Cousins most.
Who else would
likely.
go?
It would probably just be Adams and a draft pick because Cousins is going to be a free agent. If the Pelicans aren't working out, they're probably going to part ways with at least Cousins, possibly both Cousins and Davis. Because you can't see
So
Davis
what's your starting
staying
lineup
long-term.
then?
For the Thunder?
Yeah.
Well, I guess so. Adams is gone, so you have Cousins out there. I don't know these teams well enough. You're gonna have to help
Yeah, I
me
don't
out.
know. Who's the other starter?
Robertson.
Roberson.
Oh,
okay. Yeah, there we go. Roberson. Does Melo start? I guess Melo
Definitely starts. Yeah,
right?
they said that Melo's going to start.
Okay, and then
His
then you have,
ego's too big to come off the bench.
you have Russ and Paul George.
What's the over-under on amount of times Russell Westbrook stares really menacingly at Carmelo once he shoots a contested three
Each game?
per game? I say 4 is the over-under.
I would have said that. 4. I say once a quarter.
Yeah.
Once a quarter, yeah.
Once a quarter.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know.
I actually
Together.
believe in Melo here. I'm gonna put some trust in him and believe that he'll be all right not shooting the ball like 10 times a quarter. That said though, like is he going to be that effective if he doesn't have the ball in his hands that often? And
His defense is really bad.
I think he could be a defensive liability. And I think Melo can somewhat give up the ego. He's getting old. He wants to win. I could see him being able to sacrifice a little bit. I don't know if Russell Westbrook's going to hold back at all, though.
I don't know if you want Westbrook to hold back. I think he has to be the guy, and I think Melo's got to be like a secondary option.
But I guess when he played with KD, he was not like he was last year. And when KD was injured, he really just was a ball hog. He'd get assists, but like he's a ball hog, and that's like kind of in the best interest of the team. I don't know. After last year, like when you have so much fun just scoring like at ease and like getting triple doubles every day, it'd be kind of difficult to, give that up and start passing to Melo.
Yeah.
Who shoots more, Melo or Paul George?
Melo.
No.
I don't know how is Paul George going to average over like 14
Who do
points
you
a
want?
game?
Who do you want shooting more?
I'd want Paul George.
I want Paul George.
Yeah, he's probably more efficient. Although I don't know, it is worth noting like if Melo's taking fewer shots and they're open threes,
He's a very good shooter.
Yeah. So he
Depends
might
on
be
timing,
he might be really efficient.
Yeah. How many points does Paul George average though? Like, is he going to get like over 14 or 15 points a game on this
Paul
team?
George, I feel like he has to.
I don't know. I don't know
I'd
where
say
the shots
he'll
are.
probably get like
coming from,
18 still.
though. So how
He
much
gets
does Melo
18.
can average then? Like
Melo 18,
Westbrook,
Russ
like-
27-ish. I don't know.
Okay, so all their
Something like
scoring is going to
that.
come from those three guys.
And then Boogie Cousins is going to come in and average like 50. No, I think he'd actually ruin it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm not
Adams
sure
is pretty
it would
good.
be good for
I don't know how
them.
big of an upgrade that would be given the guys that they already have there.
It could
Like if
be
you add Cousins onto like a terrible team instead of Adams onto a terrible team, of course Cousins is better, but with all the talent already there, I don't know what that would do.
How many games do they win in a playoff series against the Warriors?
4, they win. I think they could win.
Yeah, they could.
They could win.
I'd give them like between a 0 and 1% chance.
Yeah,
They could win if one of the Warriors' key guys is hurt. You have 2 vintage Melo games, and then you split the other games.
What a crazy world we live in, where it's like if the Warriors are hurt and also Carmelo is 25 years old, then the Thunder win.
If you had Melo in his prime, I actually might pick them. Like realistically.
Yeah,
I think so. Because Melo in his prime is essential.
I don't know.
At one point, he was as good as KD is now for like a year or two, of a scorer.
You think not
the drop off's not that big.
Yeah, but I mean KD's better. I'd say KD.
I'd rather have Westbrook. I'd rather have Westbrook and Paul George than Curry and Draymond Green, though.
What about Curry and KD?
Yeah, we're saying Melo and KD cancel out if this is Melo in his prime.
I don't think they do.
Westbrook and Curry cancel out, and then I think Paul George is a lot better than Draymond Green.
Yeah, but then you're
and
forgetting
Klay Thompson. He's the guy that's hurt.
And this
it's obvious.
This is like, and this is also like in an ideal scenario in which like the Thunder kind of work well together because we know that the Warriors do. I don't know. Silver should kind of just like kick out the Warriors. This is what I've been saying. Give them the trophy. Just give it to them today and say, all right, you guys aren't going to play this year because it's no fun when you play.
Who would you rather have? Prime Kobe or Prime Durant?
Kobe.
Durant, he's more of a team player.
But Kobe.
He's just as good of a scorer.
He probably is better, but Kobe's just he has some
Kobe,
swag.
you'd rather have Kobe. Okay.
Yeah, he never left his team.
No, I would rather have Durant.
Really?
Okay. I would rather.
So
I think
Kobe was so clutch though.
Kobe's a little bit inefficient.
But okay, think about this. If you're the Warriors, you'd rather have Durant because you don't need him to lead the team. But if you're the Lakers, you need Kobe to carry the team.
Yeah.
Okay, now he was really clutch.
Or prime Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, no, that's
What are you gonna say? How about like 16-year-old junior in high school Lonzo Ball?
Was that his prime?
Hopefully not.
All right, LaMelo Ball family versus the Warriors right now.
The score
who's the fifth starter?
The score would probably be like 150 to 20, but I mean obviously the Ball family would win that.
I think LeVar would lead the way with like 68 points.
You don't think LaMelo would score?
No, well he'd say he scored 68 points. It'd probably be like 3.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, you gotta imagine that the media outlets would be saying that the Ball family won regardless of what actually would happen there.
Yeah.
And shoe sales would just go through the roof.
I'm not gonna lie. I have a big Baller Brand T-shirt.
T-shirt. Okay, how much? It wasn't $500 like the shoes, was it?
No, it was more expensive than any shirt should be. It's also not a very high quality shirt. But people talk about it.
Gotta
it's nice
think
to have.
Profit margins there must be amazing then.
Yeah,
pretty cheap to produce, sold at a high price. Good businessman there.
Yeah.
I really don't think it's all intentional though. I think this guy's just getting lucky. His personality sells more than his intellect.
Here we got a quote from LeVar Ball.
Lonzo's game and Steph Curry's game, a lot of stuff that I'm reading is saying he's a bigger, more athletic Steph Curry. What do you say to those comparisons?
I say this to comparisons. Man, you got to compare somebody to something. But you can't compare my boy to nobody. They tried. I'm going to tell you this. You say he's like Jason Kidd, but he's taller than Jason Kidd. Okay, he jumps better than Jason Kidd. He's longer than Jason Kidd. He got a better shot than Jason Kidd. How you comparing him? You comparing him to Steph Curry? You know why? I'm gonna give you something. Adidas Nation has compared my boy. Guess who they compared him to? When they didn't think he was that good. Kendall Marshall, another light-skinned guard. So if you want to compare my boy to the color, if you look at him, he more built and played like Penny Hardaway.
You think he can be as good as Steph Curry in the NBA?
Heck no. He's going to be better than Steph Curry in the NBA.
That's the part that I was looking for. He will be better. I think he already is better. He hasn't even played yet, but
he said he was better than Jason Kidd, who took the 2001-2002 Nets to the finals. A terrible Nets team.
Going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Is he actually taller than Jason Kidd? What's he listed?
I think Ball, isn't he like 6'5" or something like that?
He's 6'5" or 6'6".
Okay,
yeah, he's pretty big.
because Kidd's like 6'4".
Kidd was such a good rebounder though.
Yeah.
He was
Great
big.
coach,
He played
too.
even bigger than he was. Not.
He led the Bucks to some wins.
Yeah.
He's still a coach right now.
Rasheed Wallace would be a great coach.
Oh, agreed. I love Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
Yeah, he swears a lot, but I think he'd pump up the players. He's actually a smarter guy than you'd think, too.
Rasheed Wallace, Derek Mason, or James Franklin.
Rasheed Wallace. We did a show last year about who we should hire for basketball coaches because Kevin Stallings was being terrible. And we made a case for Rasheed Wallace. He has a bachelor's degree. It's in the intro to the show. He has a bachelor's
Isn't this
degree,
Kenyon
and he's.
Martin?
Oh, it is Kenny and Martin. But we want them together.
Well, yeah, they could be that would be a good coaching duo.
Actually, I don't know if Rasheed Wallace has a bachelor's degree. Kenyon Martin does.
He went to UNC, though.
Did he? How long did he stay there?
I wonder how many classes he actually took.
And if he took them, were they actually real?
That said, he did write an article for the Players Tribune, and it was very well written. So
What was it
Do you
about?
think he actually wrote it?
well, I wonder who edits those for them. But Rasheed Wallace is he sounds smart sometimes, and he sounds really angry at other times. Like some.